in the heart of Texas. LifeTalk. Here's your host, Mark Crutcher.
Welcome to LifeTalk for January 2009. I'm Mark Crutcher, and back this new year are Cherie Johnson, Troy Newman, and Johnny Hunter. Of course, Father Frank and Janet Morano will be joining us later in the show, but first, Alan Ackles is here with this month's LifeTalk News. Alan?
All right, thank you, Mark. Well, in a follow-up to a previous LifeTalk News story, abortion clinic owner Bertha Bugarin has pled guilty in a San Diego County courtroom to 9 felony counts of committing abortions without a medical license. Just 3 days earlier, she had pled no contest to 7 comparable felonies in Los Angeles. Bugarin once owned a chain of 11 death camps staffed by abortionists who one by one lost their licenses or left due to offenses ranging from medical negligence to medical fraud. That's Medi-Cal fraud in California. One of Bugarin's abortionists, Lawrence Reich, was stripped of his license after a second conviction for sex crimes. Reich was then arrested earlier this year for continuing to do abortions at Bugarin's clinics without a license. He faces his own trial sometime in 2009. Well, because of the years of documenting Bugarin's activities by local pro-lifers, Bugarin's entire abortion empire has collapsed, and every abortion mill in her infamous Clínica Médica para la Mujer abortion chain has permanently closed. She now faces up to 9 years in jail for her convictions in San Diego County and up to 10 more years for her Los Angeles case. She is currently scheduled to be sentenced in the next few weeks and has already been ordered to pay $7,800 in restitution to 16 patients. Meanwhile, in Illinois, radical pro-abortion Governor Rod Blagojevich has been arrested for attempting to sell the vacant Senate seat of Barack Obama. But pro-lifers are not surprised by Blagojevich's ethics problems, given that for years he has pushed a radical abortion agenda on the citizens of Illinois. In 2005, he ordered that the abortion drug Plan B be sold in all pharmacies in the state, and on a state website, his administration has bragged that he enacted legislation to require all private insurance companies in Illinois to cover birth control. During Blagojevich's 3 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives, he defended the horrific partial birth abortion procedure, and as governor, he recently signed a bill to fund embryonic stem cell research. An abortion clinic in Georgia is facing a lawsuit following allegations that it violated the state's parental notification law. Genevieve and Victor Patterson say they were devastated when they discovered that their 16-year-old daughter had an abortion without their knowledge. According to a complaint filed in the Fulton County Superior Court, the Patterson's daughter, Renee, was impregnated by a boy she met in a church youth group and was then pressured to have an abortion by the boyfriend's mother. The woman ordered her son to reach the internet or to search the internet for an abortion clinic, then drove the girl to the Northside Women's Clinic and signed as her parent. The Patterson suit alleges that their daughter did not want the abortion and that the clinic should have seen that by her actions in the meter. The suit charges that Northside's business thrives on soliciting minors to obtain abortions by coaching them on how to circumvent Georgia's parental notification laws. In Wisconsin, a father of 5 is facing a year in jail for holding a sign outside a Milwaukee abortion mill on a public sidewalk. In May of 2008, abortion clinic staff called police and had Drew Heiss arrested for violating a 1992 injunction which prohibited him from getting closer than 25 feet to the death camp. Milwaukee County District Attorney John Chisholm offered Drew 7 months in jail if he would confess, which he did not do because he did not feel he was within the 25-foot limit. Drew's attorney was able to have the charges thrown out on a technicality, and Drew returned to ministering outside the death camp. Then on November 10th, the state reissued the charges. Drew told LifeTalk News that the local abortion industry usually gets what it wants, and that whenever anyone has been charged with this injunction, they usually end up spending a year in jail. In Washington, D.C., a spokesperson for the YWCA has denied statements that her organization supports the Pro-Abortion Freedom of Choice Act. The claim stems from an interview where spokesperson Lorraine Cole reaffirmed the YWCA's support of abortion on demand. In dispute is whether Cole was stating that YWCA's official position or was commenting on the support of pro-abortion President-elect Obama. In either case, the YWCA reaffirmed their support for abortion, and according to another spokesperson, Nancy Loving, the Young Christian Women's Association no longer holds to a Christian ethic and has formally changed their name to just the initials YWCA. In California, it was recently discovered that the Catholic University of San Francisco's health insurance plan covered elective abortion. The school has since apologized for the situation and confirmed that abortion will be removed from the plan. However, Valerie Smalls, a contributing editor with our Sunday Visitor, has revealed that the university's health clinic also refers students seeking abortion to Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers. An official at the hospital reportedly told Schmaltz that the school is simply providing students with resources of where they want to go. When contacted by LifeTalk News, a spokesperson for that university said that the school is in the process of developing a new protocol to correct the situation and ensure that counseling and pro-life options are always provided at the USF clinic. And finally, in what appears to be a growing trend, the City Council in Corpus Christi, Texas, has voted to take away funding from the nation's #1 abortion profiteer. While the council approved funding for a host of other groups serving the coastal city, they voted to delete Planned Parenthood's funding, which had been in the city's youth development budget for the past 4 years. In recent months, LifeTalk News has reported on similar actions taken by several governments across the country. Well, I am Alan Ackles for LifeTalk News. You can get daily updates, daily news updates, that is, by logging on to ProLifeAmerica.com. And there you go, Mark.
Thanks, Alan. Well, lots of things going on. Listen, your people out there in San Diego going to jail. I know that you're real close to that.
My people. Those people.
That's how you started out in the pro-life movement, as I understand.
It was. You know, this chain was 11 abortion clinics strong.
And we're talking about, what was her name again?
Bertha Bugarin, who owned this abortion chain with Nicholas Bramer. Nicholas Bramer lost his medical license about 5 or 6 years ago. And there's, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 other abortionists that we just continually hounded them, and they got their licenses yanked. And she was left holding the bag, literally, and she didn't have a medical license, so she started doing the abortions herself. And now, of course, she's
going to jail.
About 2 decades in San Diego County and Riverside County.
The interesting thing is, we announced there that she's going to be sentenced in a few weeks. You found out what the date of the sentencing is.
Yeah, January 22nd.
Isn't that poetic justice?
And I'll tell you, if I could be anywhere in the world, January 22nd, I want to be in that LA County courtroom watching her getting sentenced. It's just poetic justice, because so many good pro-lifers were arrested in front of these abortion clinics. Years upon years, decades, sacrificed, beat up, incarcerated, sued, and now God's answered the prayers, and it's just beautiful. It's a happy day.
Sounds like
yes, it is.
She's going to trade that name in for a very long cell number.
I've got a few things to go over here for, and then we got some guests coming up later in the show. First off, we've got our heroes and zeros thing that we always talk about. We're always talking about the Christians that have abandoned us over this, particularly over this Obama elections thing. But there's some people that are indeed heroes and are still out there fighting. I tell you what, I saw a thing the other day. Franklin Graham is really coming on strong on the pro-life stuff. He's out there. I mean, no, we never could count on his father, but Franklin Graham is really doing a good job, and he is coming out. We had a Catholic bishop, Martino, in Pennsylvania, who really laid it on the line for Catholics, saying that, you can't go out here and vote for these pro-aborts and still remain a good Catholic. And he caught a lot of heat because of it, but he continued hammering away. And he's a good guy, obviously. But the interesting thing is that in Pennsylvania, now McCain carried the Catholic vote around the country, but in some places by a pretty good majority. Mm-hmm. But in Pennsylvania, he didn't. Right. And I wonder if it's because they had a guy here who stood up and told Catholics what the real story was, that you couldn't vote for this guy in good Catholic conscience, and so they didn't. I wonder if that would have any effect on it.
How much did he lose by there?
He lost 52 to 48.
Okay.
So it's still 48%.
Sure.
Still voted. But nonetheless, when you've got an area that's basically it's a heavily union area and fairly democratic, and yet this guy loses because and I think you can't say that it had nothing to do with this Catholic bishop laying the law down.
Locally here in Dallas, one of my best girlfriends, Catholic, goes to Catholic church. Of course, the priest hammered on him. Same thing. You cannot vote for this man. He's pro-abortion, all this stuff. And man, he got a lot of hooey about it from his own people.
That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. But now back onto the zeros. Of course, the lefties that many of whom we once thought were on our side of these issues continue to suck up to Obama. Head zero.
There's a long list, in other words.
There's a long list of them. There's tons of them. Rick Warren, it just was announced in the paper this morning, is going to give the invocation at Barack Obama's inauguration. I mean, this completes the sellout right here. Mm-hmm. The astonishing thing to me is the ACLU and People for the American Way and a lot of others have come out and derided the Obama administration for allowing him to do it. they ought to be tickled to death. This man this completes the sellout. He's on their side.
Look, Mark, we said 4 years ago that the Democrats needed to peel off about 10 to 15% of the evangelical and Catholic vote in order to get elected. Yeah. And it started 4 years ago with Rick Warren giving Obama and others a platform in this huge mega church in Southern California. Of course, the debate was carried live around the world. And I truly believe that it's people like him that are allowing these people that do not believe in what the Bible says and allowing them to get elected.
And he's a heretic.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Barack Obama is a heretic.
We're getting to the place then where pastors, if they're going to preach against adultery, they need to let a guy that committed adultery stand in the pulpit and defend his position on adultery.
Right.
If they're going to speak out against prostitution, then they need to put a pimp in the pulpit and let him talk about why it's okay to do it. But they're going to speak out against drugs, then they need to put the dealers in the pulpit and let the dealers have a chance to say why we need to do more drugs and how they can pay the kids better.
Dr. Hunter, these guys aren't even preaching against moral sins.
Well,
there is no sin in these
Here's something
churches.
that's interesting. In the Dallas paper this morning, they were quoting some of these ACLU people for the American Way types, saying that they opposed Rick Warren, and they didn't mention abortion because obviously Rick Warren is sold out on the abortion issue, but because he supported Proposition 8 in California, which would have prevented gay marriage. They need to recognize something. This guy is coming to their position. The way it's going, Rick Warren will not only be supporting gay marriage, he'll be performing them before too long if he continues to go the way that he's going. He and a lot of these others.
And remind us, weren't you trying to get him to come on the show back when he did? What was it he did you wanted to talk to him about?
Well, that's back when he was talking, the thing that Troy was talking about, where they were basically giving cover to people like Obama. And they can say that they didn't all they want to, but that doesn't change the fact that that's what they do. Because when you take all of these godless leftist positions like somebody like Obama takes, and then you can lure some supposed Christian leader into coming on and accepting you on an equal basis with him while still maintaining those positions, then that pastor is being used for cover with the Christian voters. Because what happens is, what Obama knows good and well, is that by having Rick Warren out here be my front man, it tells all those Christians out there who are uncomfortable with my positions on these issues that here's one of our leaders saying it's okay, that I accept him the way he is, and it's okay to vote for him, and that's how they get elected.
The Democratic Party did the same thing with Bishop Blake. He got it in powerful before the Democratic Convention. Stephen started, gave a powerful sermon on pro-life and how they shouldn't be doing blah, blah, blah. And then he turned around and said, yeah, but now we're going to support the party. Right. And I remember Dr. LaVon Ewell saying, that was just like speaking to a Klan rally, telling them why bad it was to do the lynching.
Right.
Now, here's the rope.
Right.
He said that's what it was like doing. That's what it's like doing. People like that will use pastors, and pastors got to have the guts enough not to be used. They got to decide, who are they going to serve? Are they going to serve God or are they going to serve man?
Well, and guts is the right word, because I'm sure there are people out there who say, well, y'all are being too hard on Rick Warren. Maybe he just hasn't thought about this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not stupid.
No, he's not.
He knows he's being used. He wants to be used because he wants a seat at the table. He wants to be with Billy Graham getting older now, and America's preacher, and he's going to not live forever. Rick Warren thinks he can do it by sucking up to a degenerate like Barack Obama.
Well, let me say something.
What is significant is that Billy Graham may not be around, but his son is not sucking up.
His son is not doing this. His son is not selling out.
Why didn't he pick right? Why didn't Osama put right in there?
Yeah,
right. But I've got news for Rick Warren. He's no Billy Graham.
No, he's not.
Just like Frankie Schaefer, it was not his father. It's not Francis
Here's
Schaefer.
an interesting thing. Planned Parenthood is in Indiana selling gift certificates. You can buy for Christmas present. You can use them for abortions. That was one of the questions that came up.
A gift card for an abortion?
Right. They will sell you. You can go to Planned Parenthood. You can buy a gift certificate, like you can buy one at Sears or somewhere for whatever amount of money you want to, and then you can use that down at the Planned Parenthood for an abortion or whatever else you wanted.
Mark, think of the poor sorry sap that buys his girlfriend or wife a gift certificate, and that's sitting under the tree this Christmas.
It's an abortion gift certificate.
Can you imagine?
Well, think about, if you're, I'm sure all three of us probably did this. You had a little girlfriend when you were a kid, and you have to go over and spend time with her parents on Christmas Day or whatever. And so you go over there and you give your little